Hello, I'm in fact quickly making a video for the stream. And I'm just gonna little spin. Alright, I want that. Alright. What's going on under so much pressure? Is it actually re-fermenting in there? I don't know. Worried this vermouth, worried this vermouth's a bit dodgy. Right, 3/4 of an ounce. I might actually use one of the jigger that actually has a 3/4 of an ounce measure on it. Just have to rinse it because I haven't been using it. So God knows what beasties have floated around and gotten in there. Give it a proper clean. Okay, I'll rinse that again. Oh, okay, yeah, do that. Took too long to start shooting and camera went into its battery saver mode. Alright, that's ready. Alright, wait, where are we? Where the fuck are we? 3/4 of an ounce. Alright. Turn the camera on and go splish splash. Splish splash show. And some orange liqueur. And finally some lemon juice. Probably more lemon juice than I want in there. Und just meant to do a dash of absinthe, so just going to use spoon to make sure I don't do too much. Oh, don't spill it. There we go. So that's that. Now I need to put ice in my shaker. So I best do that. I'm going to put some ice in here. Who's here? Hello, Mega Leech, by the way. I was just in a different part of the kitchen, I think. All right. Let's shake it. I think I actually sealed that right. Oh, I think I just got that before the bloody battery saver came into. Oh, that's pretty good. All right. Enough. And now, moving things around to the other side. Move this glass around. All right, I'll bring my camera around here so it's facing here. Okay. Now maybe do a bit while I'm standing up. And over here a bit, so you can see me doing the thing. All right. Well, let's get it happening. It's a bit right. We want to go down a bit. Let's get this happening. Oh wait, I want to put my green screen out here a bit. Right. Go wide. How's that looking? That's good. I probably can't do green screen because I've got a green shirt on. We'll see. Just get my audio recorder happening. Everyone's deciding to talk loud in the next room. That's okay. I'll obscure it a bit with music. God damn it, why is it doing that? Sorry, say anything like I had no memory card in here, and I do. I just have to make sure it's sitting in there, right? Alright, that looks like it. Right, it's doing it again. Doesn't usually do it twice in a row. Okay. Card. Yes. I don't know, maybe my little Zoom recorder's feeling its age? After more than a decade of solid use? Alright, it is working this time. Okay, let's do it. Alright. G'day, cocktail lovers. A popular cocktail that's had a reputation of G'day, cocktail lovers. A popular cocktail that's long had a reputation for being a bit of a pick-me-up after too big a night, maybe, is the Corpse Reviver. And the number 2 is the most popular variation. It's an equal parts cocktail, and it goes like this. In your shaker, you put 3/4 of an ounce, or around 22.5 mils of dry gin. Then you put in 3/4 of an ounce of Coke Americano, point blank. Then you put in 3/4 of an ounce of Coke Americano. Follow that with 3/4 of an ounce of an orange liqueur. And finally, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. You can also do an absinthe rinse or just throw a dash of absinthe into your shaker. Then you put that on ice, shake that good and hard for like 10 or 15 seconds, and strain it into a chilled coupe. And there's your Corpse Reviver. It's a great citrusy drink, and it might revive you, but careful, don't have too many or put the corpse back to sleep. Cheers. That was a horrible fake smile I just did. I could feel how fake it was. Hi, Kayla. And that cocktail's also not working for me. Wait. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do, I am going to put a teeny bit of sugar sip in it, because I also wanted to have a fake bit where I shake it, but now it's going to be a real bit where I shake it. I'm going to add a little bit of sugar syrup, just a little bit. That's probably enough. And put the drink back in and shake it again. All right. Now I'll switch all this stuff off. All right, and I'm going to restrain my drink. Oh. Right. There you go. That worked out because I wanted a shot of me shaking it, and I also wanted to add a bit of sugar syrup because it didn't taste quite right for me. Oops. Let's get this down to about here. Okay. Switch the banner off because I'm not shooting the video anymore. Yeah, no. It's like, is that how it's going to go? AD, then Mimsy, then my little Zoom recorder? Oh, no. Anyway. See if that little bit of sugar syrup improved my corpse reviver. Yes, it did. Just took the edge off it a bit. Still not a sweet drink, but that little bit of sugar syrup took the edge off it. It's too acidic for me. No, my taste has changed in the last year or two. So I usually like a cocktail with less citrus than the recommended recipe. And I used to really like sours. I used to really go for the citrus, but I don't know, something in my palate changed. And I like my cocktails to be a little bit less acidic now. So, anyway. Cheers, y'all. Still a very fresh cocktail, though. It's not my favorite. Probably not even in my top 10, to be quite honest. But, it's still a, refreshing little cocktail. So I was just looking at this silly AI art thing I did earlier. No, it's not reflux. Mrs. Angry has that problem, so she avoids acidic drinks. It's just not liking the taste as much. When I make a cocktail that has lemon or lime juice, according to, the most popular recipe for it, it's usually too citrusy for me. And I'm like, So I almost always use less than the recipe recommends. But yes, and it happens with food as well. Palate changes. And stuff I really enjoy now than in the past, I couldn't conceive of liking. So, yeah, it's a whole thing. So, just accept the fact one's palate changes. I certainly all I like now is really boozy drinks. No, it's not all I like. My favorites are all really boozy drinks. And particularly a dry martini. Only 3 years ago, I couldn't conceive of liking a really dry martini. But my tastes changed. I used to always drink sours, like whiskey sour in particular is my favorite. Now it's the old-fashioned. I'll always make old fashions or old-fashioned variations. So, que sera, sera. That's what Doris Day was singing about. What cocktail will she have next? I don't know. Que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. A Foreign Legion cocktail. Rum, Aperol, Dubonnet. There you go. And sherry. I might make that for myself. That's rum, Aperol. I've got an Aperol substitute. Dubonnet and sherry, and I've got sherry. And a bar spoon of dark creme de cacao. Dash of rhubarb bitters. I don't have rhubarb bitters, but I have other bitters. So I'll improvise. This one. Du Bordeaux. Rye whiskey. Ooh. No, maybe this one just jumped to what I'm going to make. That might be. Ooh, that might be my next barrel-aged cocktail. Rye whiskey. Dubonnet. Oh, I don't have that much Dubonnet. I used Dubonnet Rouge. Fernet Branca. Do I really want to use that much Fernet Branca is a question. An elderflower. So what's that? That's 60 mils, 75 mils. It's like 80 mils. Do that by 15. So that's still only going to be 4 ounces of Fernet Branca. Oof. Tempting. Shieldsy. Oh, no. Oh, well. If you're on the back end of it, glad that you're not suffering that much. And hi, Greg, by the way. And I agree with Megalite Shieldsy. You probably should test. In fact, one of the big reasons to test now is not so much that they report it very accurately, but, and actually, if you're already getting past it, it may not be such a big deal. But one of the biggest reasons to get a test now is first in the early stages. So you know to be a bit careful, to watch out for, is this going to get serious? But also, in case you get quite sick, it's easier to apply for support if you've already tested positive. So you did 4 rats, they're all over the place, and they aren't that reliable. But your doctor had it. I mean, yeah, you probably had it. And hi, Pat. How you doing, mate? Oh, no. I think I've got hiccups. My stupid friends. I got fucking Bo Burnham song stuck in my head. Just the bit where he goes, "My stupid friends are having stupid children." It's an I'm Turning 30 song. I'll soon be turning, well, no, soon. It's a few years off yet, but I'll be turning double 30 in a few years. Good. Glad you're good, Pat. I'm good too, mate. Hope everyone's good. I'm good. I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. That's my 2 favorite COVID songs came out in 2020. Hilltop Hood's I'm Good and collaboration between Tim Minchin and Briggs called Housefire. Both quite good at capturing the mood in different ways. See, okay, yeah, you're looking about the same to 50 as I am to 60. So, what's the Hilltop Hood song about? I'm good. I'm good. I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. That's kind of thoughtful. I'm good. I'm pretty good, but not great. How are you? Because I'm kind of awful. It's kind of like that. That honest, your first thing is, oh, no, I'm good. I'm pretty good. Thanks for asking. Oh, no, I'm good. Well, actually, no. I'm pretty awful. Because it was a stressful time. It can psychologically, all those big milestone years, yeah, they can be a bit to wrap your head around, quite honestly. I think I will do a version of this Du Bordeaux because it sounds like really interesting flavors. So, yeah, 60, 75. I want to multiply that by about 15 to make a big batch. So 30 ounces of whiskey. I might run through a bit of my whiskey with that. Yeah, I was going to just do an old fashioned, but this sounds better. It says rye whiskey. I'm going to do a mix of whiskeys. 30 ounces. What's that? 900 mils. Jesus. So this is mostly whiskey. 900 mils of whiskey. 20 times 15. So that's 300. Wait. Okay, I need to do the maths properly on that. Hello, Dr. Abigail. How are you? Shilsey, so your doctor confirmed COVID day after you're with them. Oh, that was your. If you indeed have it, and you are probably right, you probably have it. You've gone this far without getting it. That was a good run. Oh yes, Dr. Abigail Megaleech has sent. I don't. I saw it in the chat on Discord, but yes, our artworks by the talented younger Megaleech, Youngmouth Megaleech, is on the way. So Shieldsy, late for you. My symptoms changed over the course of a week. They never got worse than a mild cold, but the congestion sort of moved around a bit. One day it'd be my nose, the next day it'd be my throat, then it'd be my chest. I had a fever, not a really bad one, but a noticeable fever for about 2 days. I had headaches for a little bit, and I was so fucking tired. And, like barely left the bedroom because I was isolating for the week. Barely left the bedroom and I was so fucking tired. Pat, look, I still haven't decided. I mean, I'd like the idea of catching up with you, but I don't know. YouTube meetups are a whole big fucking hassle for me for not much return, quite honestly. So I don't know if I'm ever doing it. I don't know if there's any point. Right. You know what? Where did I put my phone? God, I put my fucking phone down somewhere in the... Oh, no. It's over there because I was using it for a recipe. Moving boxes. Yes. God damn. I mean, Shieldsy, even if ice cream didn't work for the sore throat, it'd be a top tip. That's a good way to recover from physical activity, doing the art. And Lee, bonjour to you, sir. Sorry, I'm just getting my phone. I left it around here. I'm just getting my phone to do the ease of use calculator. I'll just update my little Trello board, keeping track of everything I'm doing. Okay, so all right, so first a single serve of this is I think that was the calculation I did wrong. 2 ounces is 60 plus 22.5 plus 15 equals. Okay, so yes, that was the calculation I did wrong. So 1 serve of this is about 100 mils, and I want to make 1,200 mils of it. So I've got to multiply everything by 12. So 22.5 times 12 is 270 mils of Dubonnet. 0.25 times 12 is 3 ounces. 90 mils of those. And 60 times 12, 720 mils of whiskey. All right. Maths in my head was done wrong. Thank you, Lee. You're a wonderful person. As a thing, today is National Compliment Day. I'd like to start off by complimenting everyone by saying you have impeccable taste joining the stream. The weirdest fucking shit came out of, those AI art things when I was just putting compliment in as the prompt. Sometimes it would be a weird garble of letters that weren't forming words. And sometimes it would just be a really weird picture. One, for some reason, looked like a Funko Pop, and I'm not sure how that worked. But yeah, they're very weird. And if you saw the thumbnail that I used for this, I got bored with trying to do prompts for the word compliment, and I just stuck a picture of me through a filter in one of those programs and got a very silly picture that I quite enjoyed. So I used that. It's a whole thing. So Shieldsy, your roller coaster, 3 days high temperature, no sleep, sore throat. So you sound like Darth Vader. Yeah, well, I streamed for most of the week because I was, in a bedroom by myself. So I think I streamed every night for at least a while when I was doing my week of COVID isolation. Because, yeah, it just got weird and strange being in a room by myself and theoretically not leaving that room. Once or twice, like when everyone else, because I was up late and everyone else was asleep, I'd come out of the kitchen and get something because, not interacting with anyone. And we were also lucky it was good weather that week. So Mrs. Angry was able to have doors and windows open in the house. So good circulation. So you wouldn't have wanted to do that if it was too hot or too cold, but the temperature was just right to open up the house a bit and get some ventilation. I'm still impressed that young Mr. Angry and myself both had COVID and we isolated in our bedrooms. Other householders did not contract COVID. Isolation works along with ventilation. So I was pretty impressed how that worked out, quite honestly. So, when I got my sodas, I was complaining about not being able to get Cappy sodas before, and so I ordered cases of them, and they don't take up that much room. I was worried about how much room they were going to take up. So I've got these 24, like 6 4-packs of blood orange and sage, and the same amount of grapefruit and rosemary. Might even have one of those tonight. Crack one open. Crack open a cold one with the boys. Almost denuded this orange. One more peel. And then I actually have a plan to make a cocktail that needs orange juice. And yes, Shieldsy, having a high temperature in summer, not fun. Somewhat more tolerable in winter. Yeah, my fever was not that bad, but it was noticeable. Not as bad as the time I had glandular fever and I was just bathed in sweat, just lying in bed with sweat pouring off me, which is how I knew I was sick. Because it's like, I was with my girlfriend at the time, was sleeping next to me, and she wasn't sweating. First, I just thought, that's a hot night. I'm sweating so much. And my girlfriend goes, why are you sweating so much? I said, are you not sweating so much? She goes, not at all. It's not hot. I went, oh, maybe I'm sick. Turns out I was. And they make you get a blood test to confirm it's glandular fever. And then they don't do anything because there's not actually a treatment for glandular fever, or there wasn't back in the day. And I hate blood tests. So after doing the blood test, which I hated, and went back and to get my results, and the doctor says, you've got glandular fever. And I said, what do you do now? He goes, oh, nothing. What the fuck did I have to go through that blood test for? And I said, well, it's actually to rule out other things. Because, yeah, lying there being bathed in sweat, the potential things that can cause that are comparatively benign, like a cold or a mild flu, through glandular fever, through to some actually way worse things. So the blood test is to confirm what it was and what it wasn't. I was still miffed because, did I mention I fucking hate blood tests? Not a fan. Not a fan. They traumatized me both physically and psychologically. Did not enjoy, would not recommend, 0 stars. Just not good. It was a bit hard to take it philosophically. And the doctor said, oh, yeah, we made you do a blood test, and now we can't actually treat you. So you've just got to, tough it out. You're going to feel fucked for a week or 2 or a month, Oh my God, that's an excellent note, Mega Leech, because having lived through last summer's heat wave where our air conditioner broke, that fucking sucked. And we're supposed to have like high 30s on Saturday here. But it's really weird all over the place weather, actually. Parts of Melbourne got a thunderstorm this afternoon. We didn't hear. It's supposed to be 28 tomorrow. Then on the holiday on Thursday, 22, drop right down. Then back up to 27 and like 36 on Saturday. And then down to 23 on Sunday. The big relief will be the overnight on Saturday gets under 20. But that's weird. One hot day thrown in there is weird. 20 degrees all day, every day. Of course, the other alternative is to live in a cave, because in lots of parts of the world, caves were used for storage because if they're deep enough, they are a constant temperature all year round. No matter how hot or cold it is outside, the interior of the cave is the same temperature. And that was used for things like aging cheeses and wines, preserving meats, all these sorts of things. Usually cooler than 20 degrees, though. Was it on Thursday, Invasion Day? No, they really don't think it'll rain. It's just going to be a comparatively low temperature. Okay. Whatever you say, Bureau. I thought the predictions looked really volatile this week, and I thought they would change a lot. They haven't yet. What's it? Still only Tuesday. But yeah, no, that pattern was what they'd been predicting since Sunday, and they haven't changed it. Low on Thursday and high on Saturday. Well, once again, scintillating topics of conversation. The weather. Oh dear. But this is a thing we do. Wowzers. Just wondering if there's anything funny news, or did I miss an email that's important? Interested in cryptocurrency? No, I'm not. It's ridiculous. Oh dear. Oh yeah, what's the weird thing? 2 in 1 week where a mass shooting in the US was done by an old Asian man. Is that tied into Lunar New Year? Did Lunar New Year upset some people? That was really weird because the overwhelmingly typical shooter in America is a white guy, and usually a young white guy. And these two, only like 2 days apart, 2 old Asian men. And again, they happened just in Lunar New Year. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. Reading too much into it? It was weird, though. I mean, everything that happens in America is fucking weird. So, I'm just thinking, is there anything actually interesting that's not depressing happening in the world? I feel. Oh, look, Peter Dutton's saying Kanye shouldn't be allowed entry to Australia. Probably because of all that anti-Semitic pro-Hitler stuff he's been saying. That seems like the sort of thing where you'd fail a moral character test, honestly. But yeah, I don't really look to, call me crazy, but I don't really look to Peter Dutton for moral guidance, given that he's an absolute steaming bowl of shit. Like, he sucks so much. He's so awful. Hey, bum fungus. It is true. Crazy crosses boundaries. It's easy to start to form sort of stereotype ideas, but people aren't amorphous blobs. There are outliers all over the place. Ooh, this sounds like fun. Clarence Council Mayor threatens to call police after questioner quotes his controversial comments. Don't like his words users. Tasmanian Mayor shut down a council meeting, quoting remarks he made 2 years ago referencing Nazi Germany. So he's a new mayor, part of Greater Hobart. Ratepayer attempted to ask a question about a developer with a controversial plan. Began the question by quoting Alderman Blomley's comments supporting the development. He said opponents used tactics reminiscent of Nazi Germany's Joseph Goebbels. Alderman said that's an improper question. Doesn't sound like an improper question, just quoting your own words back to there. You're impugning the chair. You're making offensive remarks. I love it's like, you are slandering me by quoting words I used. That guy is just making a tool of himself. So the guy refused to sit down, and so the mayor shut down the meeting and said he wanted the police called, but no one called the police, and no, they all calmed down. Oh, Alderman Blomley said he unreservedly retracted his comments. He's frustrated with people who tried to blatantly mislead about the issue by stating the fact that he said it. That's very misleading. Quoting someone's actual words back to them is definitely misleading. The comments were, his excuse is, my comments were inelegant, clumsy, I regret them. If I've caused anyone genuine discomfort by my comments, I unreservedly apologize. It's so fucking funny. Oh, you're impugning the chair by pointing out things I actually said. Jesus Christ. Okay, I thought that sounded like a fun story. That was kind of fun. Oh, there you go. Thousands without power as storms hit Victoria. Missed us completely. It was pretty big. It sort of ripped through. I mean, you know. What else? Is there any indecent traffic photos? Oh, God, is Microsoft pouring billions of dollars into ChatGPT? Jesus. Is that a smart bet? I don't know. Oh, nice. Painting wheat fields for Catan. Detailed enough that you're putting too much thought into it. Overthinking the arts. All right. I'm not gonna make another video tonight, but we're gonna make a couple on Thursday. Und what else shall we do? Challenges. Putting deep thoughts into things, because I'm a deep thinker. Hey, Justin, how you doing? Actually, now putting deep thoughts just into having a drink. Will I have one of my ready-made drinks, or will I make myself a drink? That's what I was going to do, actually. I think I do, Megaleech. I attract quality people to the streams. Definitely people of quality, which I appreciate. Yep, actually, I know what I'm going to do drunk-wise. Okay. So, that involves getting a glass, step 1. I'm going to have a cherry, because that's how I do. And I'll get some ice. Just move this stuff about. That's it. Get one of the big chunks of ice. Last chunk. Fill this up before I go to bed. From El Chonk Ice Cube. Put that out of there. And I'm just going to finish this. 2-year-old Angostura and a different sugar syrup. I think I'm going to sneeze. Yep, there goes the sneeze. Oh, I can predict the future in as much as I can feel when a sneeze is coming on. People seem to be catching COVID second. You haven't had it yourself. As I was saying, when young Mr. Angry and I had it, we managed to not give it to the other household members who still have not had it. So, all right. That's the end of my most expensive whiskey, Bakery Hill. Now, here's some of this fruity sugar syrup. It's actually a mango sugar syrup I made. Oh, spit. Just dribble some sugar syrup on myself. It's going to stain my pants. And some Angostura bitters. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do, little bit of orange. Because I like a bit of orange in my drink. And also, Mrs. Angry gets to have it, hot chocolate in the morning. Probably got a bit much pith in there. Are you taking the pith? Right. I was just going to get a cherry, wasn't I? It's my jar of cherries. I like cherries. I ordered some more cherries today. Wait a second. Have I got... Hey. Man, lucky I ordered some more cherries today. It's an online bottle shop. Advertised some really good specials today, and so I ordered a couple. So A, taking advantage of the special. B, the excitement of getting a delivery, which is a weird thing I really got into during COVID, looking forward to having deliveries. And also, because this mob sell the jars of cherries for a good price, I also ordered a jar of cherries to go with the bottles of booze I ordered. There's a French apple brandy called Calvados and Grappa, the Italian grape-based spirit. I've never really had Grappa, so it's going to be interesting to see what that's like. And no, Justin, I don't have my take-home bit of AIDSy yet. Oh, that is a really strongly flavored whiskey. Gonna dilute it a little bit with a bit more stirring. Which I think, hardcore whiskey people really like Bakery Hill, and also would be super mortified at me making a cocktail with it. Because that's the whole thing with whiskey nerds. They think you should just drink it neat. You shouldn't have it in cocktails. It's like, I do what I want. Fuck you, whiskey nerd. Keeping it simple this time. Oof. Yep, that is some potent flavors right there. Very, very serious whiskey. Was the thing they said with it? It's like a second release of Blunderbuss, a unique collaboration between Bakery Hill and Melbourne brewers Hop Nation. Not only dialed up the intensity, the sure of it's pretty intense, we've extended the maturation in imperial stout casks to 2 full years. With this finish added to the previous 6-year maturation in American oak, Spirit serves up a kaleidoscopic sensation of wonderfully dense and rich whiskey. So, they aged it for 6 years in American oak barrels and then finished it for 2 years in barrels that had beer in it, stout. So it was distilled in 2014, bottled in 2022, which is when I got it. And now in 2023, it's finished. Yeah, I like how much glass there is on the bottom of this bottle. It gives a nice little heft. Also, probably quite good in hand-to-hand combat, actually. Decent bit of heft. really whack someone on the noggin. Not that I recommend that, kids. Violence is bad. Kind of a good size bottle. 500. No, I've got 500ml bottles. I don't need to keep this bottle. I like having bottles in different sizes because when I make different sort of size batches, I have a bottle for them. So, Dr. Abigail some food. I made chicken burritos tonight. That was my dinner. Chicken burritos. Not too bad, if I say so myself. I kept it fairly simple. It's got a real butterscotchy flavour. And again, because Bakery Hill make their whiskies very much in the Scotch style. And they age them much longer than most Australian distillers. Most Australian distillers, they're making a serious single malt, it's aged 2-3 years, sometimes longer. That particular one was aged 8 years. So more than twice as long as is common for Australian distillers. So they're pretty gosh darn serious, which is also why that was my most expensive whiskey, being aged for 8 years. I have whiskies that were aged longer than that, actually. Even I've got Talisker 10-year-old, but that's from a really big distillery. So it didn't cost as much as that. In fact, it was noticeably less, probably half as much as that. Bakery Hill, very much a boutique distillery. So their releases tend to be a tad more expensive. That's why I don't get a lot of them. But, looking forward to seeing is any distillery I like going to do some limited edition releases. I'm hanging out for it. Smeagoli's got a bunch of COVID tests. Used by date today. Yes. Use it. Who knows? You have a slight sniffle. Yeah. So I always wake up. It's weird that my CPAP machine kind of coincided with the start of COVID, because one side effect of having this thing forcing air up through you, it's reasonably common for me to wake up with dried out sinuses and dried out throat, and so sort of coughing and being a bit phlegmy in the morning trying to do it. So for the first year of COVID, when I was very paranoid about it, I woke up a lot of mornings with what could be described as potential COVID symptoms. But it's I think it's just my CPAP machine. I have to wait. If after being awake for a couple of hours, see if the symptoms have gone away. And they always did. Oh, nice. Yes, I love this. Edge of the seat action on the stream. Do know? Who can tell? Testing for yes. All right, counting down. I think it's the first time I've had a COVID test live on the stream. Pretty fucking wild stuff. And hey there, Safa. How you doing? Did the storm hit you this afternoon, man? Missed me. Got other bits of Melbourne. Oh, God, I can hear Shadow meowing and carrying on in the next room like the little weirdo she is. Oh, look at us asking each other the same question, Safa. There's a delay in me seeing your question. Yeah, the storm hit fairly wide areas of Melbourne. Not my place, though. You just missed us. Watching tennis. I mean, tennis is okay. I don't hate tennis. I don't watch it that often. But All right, 11 minutes. What's the vote? Does Megaleech have COVID or not? I'm saying no. Okay, I'm taking the safe bet. I'm not doing anything radical. Taking the safe bet, and so if there's a turn up for the books, I'll get the big shock surprise thing. Hellian, hello, Kirsten. Yeah, Safra, I wouldn't sit in the big fucking crowd either. I mean, I don't even like going out where I have to be indoors with people. So, like when Mrs. Angry and I have been doing date nights, we've only been going to places where we could sit outside or if they have a lot of ventilation. And you can't do that on really hot days. So, like this Saturday is going to be really hot. So, we're probably not going to go out on Saturday. It's going to be too fucking hot. Just stay home. Oh, so Kirsten News missed. I just finished my most expensive whiskey, my Bakery Hill Blunderbuss. Space on my shelf. I'm waiting for someone to release a distillery I'm interested in. Release a limited release whiskey. Take a spot on my shelf. All right, so the control line's solid. The test's valid. 10 minutes to find out if Megaleech has COVID. Clock is ticking. I made an old-fashioned with the last of the Bakery Hill, which would probably just freak out Bakery Hill enthusiasts that I'm not drinking the blunderbuss straight. It's not how I drink whiskey, though. I mean, I always taste it straight, but it's extremely rare for me to just sit around drinking spirit straight. Officially a South Australia. Oh, got your license and your car plates. That's very South Australian of you. Oh, well, there's a huge amount of variables at play here, but I am actually hoping Mrs. Angry and I get to visit South Australia this year, even if it's only for a short one, because there's a bunch of people I'd like to catch up with, including you now, Kirsten. So that's something we might do. The single biggest variable is the COVID situation. In fact, probably don't want to do anything that we'd regard as high risk until we get like another COVID booster properly. And like the vibe is probably in the next month, the official advice would be, particularly for people in our age cohort, like, yeah, however many you've had, if you haven't had a COVID vaccination in 6 months, you should get another one. That is very industrious, Kirsten. 3 days till you start work, so you just went out and got it done. All right. Anyone betting that Megaleech has COVID? It's the remote chance, but you know, surely someone's going to take the long shot bet. Actually, this old-fashioned is much better as it dilutes a little bit. It's really weird. It's like, for me, it's got butterscotch and orange, as in like citrusy orange flavors in it. A fruity whiskey. Yeah, not bad. These old fashions are probably like, because I had one on Sunday night as well. I realized there wasn't much of that left. I thought I'm just going to use it up. It's probably the most I've enjoyed that. It was mildly disappointing that the most expensive whiskey I ever bought was not my favorite. Not even close, actually. It's not terrible. I don't hate it. It's just nowhere near close to being my favorite, which was mildly disappointing. But then I've said this the other night too, when I tasted their other ones, one of their regular releases, the double wood single malt, that's good. That's my type of whiskey. It's very good. All right, 6 minutes. Is anyone hoping you have COVID for pulling this stupid stunt on air? Well, Kirsten's gone with the COVID long shot bet. So, we'll see who wins the big money. Me for taking the safe bet that you probably don't have COVID, or Kirsten wins big with a long shot bet that you do have COVID, that you return a positive test. I suppose we should use more precise language because the rats aren't 100% accurate. So what we're betting on is whether you return a positive or negative test. So, but we all know what we mean. Just a little burst of pedantry on my part there. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I actually do have a little bit of clarified cocktail there. Oh. And I'm going to need this 1 litre bottle. It's a 1 litre Maker's Mark bottle. I put a clarified cocktail. I'm going to need that because I'm going to empty another barrel, the barrel-aged cocktail, later this week. And I need a big bottle for that. It's a tequila cocktail called a Mexican Lover. What exactly was in it again? The Mexican Lover, aged tequila, añejo tequila, brandy and sweet vermouth. My bet is that's going to be really fucking good, actually. 4 minutes going. If this is 100%, asked it, said it was good, did the carrier pigeon, fake cat. Oh, dear. Chill my drink. Let's go, Brandon. Don't know why I said that. Just a random thing that popped into my head. Victorians eligible to get free rats from local councils. Oh, there you go. I'll have to keep that in mind. I think we actually still have some. I have to check with Mrs. Angry because she got them from her work. And I don't know if they had a use by date. What else? Oh, there's a tropical cyclone forming off the coast of Western Australia. That sounds a bit intense. Nice. So are you planning traveling, Mega Leach? Got a birth certificate and applying for a passport? And that is expensive. And 2 minutes, the countdown to the final reveal, positive or negative test. This is the most excitement I've had in a while. Waiting for a big reveal. Going to Japan. Nice. Well, that's interesting to me, Dr. Abigail. You watched the controversial new series Velma. Interesting you found yourself enjoying it. There you go. Yes, because I've heard it's wound a few people up. What did we watch? We watched the sort of heist caper series on Netflix called Kaleidoscope, which is like 8 episodes, and they randomize them to a certain extent. You always see the heist last. It's very surprising. It is unlike any other sort of heist caper thing I've seen before. It's very much its own thing within that genre. I mean, you could argue aspects of it are a bit bleak, but worth watching. It's quite compelling. We stayed up late watching the last episode. 1 minute for the test result. Imagine a drum roll, doing a virtual drum roll now. So yes, I give that a recommend. Kaleidoscope on Netflix. And also we're watching... all right, going to post a picture in Discord. I better open Discord then. Where are we? Come on, load Discord. All right. I'm ready when you are, Mega Leech, basically. All right, and here comes the big reveal. Did Mega Leech test negative or positive? Negative. Good for you. That's a really definite negative as well. Control line very strong. Not even a shadow on the test line. So there you go. That's about as much excitement as I can take. But there you go. That's something a little bit different. Yes, okay. So Dr. Abigail has at least a mild recommend for Velma. I have a recommend for Kaleidoscope. Strong recommend for The Last of Us. Only that's one where they're only releasing one episode a week. There's only 2 episodes out so far. But absolutely strong recommend for The Last of Us from me. Oh, yeah, you were telling me that. And messaging us after you went out and you had a mojito that was super strong. Well, lucky the pub was close to your home. Oh, yes. As soon as Nope is free on a streaming service, I'm definitely going to watch it. And that would have to be soon. In fact, I noticed just looking through stuff, because Nope is from Jordan Peele. I can watch Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone, I realized. So I might watch some of that. I don't know if Mrs. Angry's interested. So when we're looking for viewing on Wednesday night, tomorrow night, I think I'm going to recommend giving Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone a go. I can actually also watch the original Rod Serling Twilight Zones on one of the streaming services I have. So, and they're trying to get me to watch BritBox, which has some new stuff and some old stuff, including the original Doctor Who. Like, I think they have remastered William Hartnell stuff and colorized it and remastered the sound as well. Like, I heard a clip on Twitter the other day, a William Hartnell thing with remastered sound, and it was astonishing, because I'm used to the sound on William Hartnell episodes sounding a bit like they're coming through an old radio or an old TV, and this was astonishing sound clarity. Some sound engineer. Hey, Jude. Yeah, my shirt is pretty bubbly. Cartoon anthropomorphized shakers and martini glasses. Safa, it wasn't just in the office yesterday, also in the office today. And the office was fine. Fucking tram today was so crowded because the fucking bunch of trains weren't running. So everyone got on the tram and it was really crowded, and there were sick people on the tram, and I was not fucking impressed. And how do I know they're sick? Because they were sniffling and coughing and they sounded really fucking sick. I'm taking that as a recommendation. Also, Dr. Abigail. I haven't watched any of it, so I have to watch it. So yeah, I probably wasn't going to go in the office for the rest of the week. Definitely not after the fucking tram today. I don't want to be on a tram that fucking crowded. I think the trains are running again normally next week, so the early trams won't be as crowded. Oh, neat, getting your car back. Yeah. Driving into the city is too much hassle and, paying for parking and whatnot. So, I don't do it, is what I'm saying. But yes, I'm hopeful that if trains are running normally next week, my tram, or at least if I get on an early tram, will be less crowded. Because, okay, it's been a long time, but the tram this morning felt more crowded than an average peak hour tram would have been like pre-COVID. Like I always go a little bit early so the trams are less crowded, and this one was just, so many people on it. I did not like it. Jude, if Hartnell's Doctor Who was filmed in Kinescope, would account for fuzzy quality all around. Well, I mean, it was shot for the TV of the time. So I think from memory they were shot on videotape, which was not very high res back in the day. Speaking of Doctor Who, wearing a fez. Fezzes are cool. Just I didn't know it. Stuff like the Melbourne City Loop opened 41 years ago. Yeah, well, now they're working on the new city stations, and that's the reason trains aren't running. Also, they're doing some more level crossing removals. It's a whole thing. I mean, I'll re-look at it, but I think Mrs. Angry told me that the train should be normal next week, and I kind of, trust Mrs. Angry on these things. She looks at these things. So, yeah. Yeah, dude, like, as you say, as they record on something cheap, it also reminds me of remembering, like, the early recordings from the 20th century, the jazz stuff, known as Tin Pan Alley. That was recorded to sound good on the players they had at the time, those things with the big sort of trumpet thing. And so a straight recording from that period is going to sound sort of crappy and tinny now. But it was designed to sound at its best on the technology they had. Fezzes are cool. Definitely. Oh, yeah, no, Safa, the videotapes they used weren't cassettes. They weren't video cassettes. They were on reels. They were big reels of videotape. The video cassette was a later invention. Oh god, I did video editing at uni, and it was on videotape. It wasn't digital. With these U-matic tapes, 3/4 inch videotapes, big fucking cassettes. Like, they're not VHS or anything, but quite good quality. But it's funny when you were doing video editing, because it has to get up to speed. So when you were looking at something, your source thing, and you're sort of editing it to go onto the final thing, on the source thing, you jig and go, okay, that's my in point, that's my output. I want it to start here and end there. And then both of the tapes would rewind and they'd play for a couple seconds just to make sure the video had got up to speed, because they were mechanical. So the first bit of the machine starting was just a little bit slow. So it rewound back a couple of seconds and then played. And then because you told it when to transfer a bit, then it'd copy bits while it was running. It was a very interesting process. Now with digital, what you do is you have your source material. And it's funny trying to explain this to people. I'm not necessarily good at explaining it. People don't always get it. And when they don't, I think it's because I'm not explaining it very well. But with digital, because you don't have to get stuff up to speed because it's just digital. What you do, you've got your raw footage, the digital file. And when you're in your editing program, you tell it all the in and out points and you put it all together. And you can look at it in your editing program and see that you've got the edits right or probably right. But in a very real sense, that edited thing doesn't exist until you render the file, which is weird because it kind of does, because you can play it and see whether or not your edits are working, but it's not the final thing. It's and so when you're confident that you've got the edits right in the source thing, then you hit render that, and then you wait however long it takes to render, and then you have an actual video file. When you're watching it in your editing program, there's no video file that exists. It's like keeping it in its short-term memory. It's pretty wild. So far, I think people still use Windows Movie Maker, although I think there might be a newer video editor in Windows. I'm not sure. Deadly lag between rewind and play that screwed up recording time. Yeah. And that's why this was the thing we had at uni. It was a professional editing suite. So yeah, what it did, you told the system, here's my in and out point. That's the bit I want to go into my final thing. So both the playing tape and the recording tape would rewind a couple of seconds, and then they'd synchronize and put it across. So I was wondering why my Discord was beeping. So yeah, the whole video editing is weird, and that's why if you're like me, and okay, God, I haven't bought a DVD in forever, and because I've still got a bunch I haven't read, but I particularly like making of featurettes, and particularly Pixar movies tended to have really good making of featurettes, really good behind the scenes stuff. But you see this generally on computer animated movies. If you ever see outtakes, it's like some really fucking weird shit is happening, because what the people who are putting it together and editing it's do, they map it all out pretty much like I was saying, with my YouTube videos, except at a much more complex level. And they plot it all out, like, they do the face movements, they do the physical movements, and they tell the system all the things they want, and they map it all, and they set all the controls, and it's like heaps of variables that they program into it. And then they go, okay, render that. And rendering a couple of seconds of high-end computer animation can take hours, if not days. So when you see outtakes and the video rendering looks really weird, like faces are distorted or things are like there's a leg around it, and you think, why would anyone even do that? I think they're faking, because they don't know. They've programmed all the stuff into the editing, and they think they've got it right, but then they have to hit render and wait hours or days for that couple of seconds or minute of their digital film to render, and then they come back and look at what rendered. And if all the little controls they put in, they did right, everything's fine. But if one of the sliders is out of whack, some weird fucked up shit happens. It's weird. Dude, you bought a DVD. It's the second time the case has arrived, shattered with splinters of black plastic. God damn. You've got some brutal delivery people. Oh, well. God, I've got so many DVDs and a few Blu-rays out there. So many of them I've never actually watched because I used to compulsively buy stuff like when it was on special. That's probably pretty good and it's on special. I'll get it. And I watch, I don't know, most of them, but God, there are dozens of things I've got on disc that I haven't watched. And it's like, maybe, when the collapse of civilization happens and there's no internet, but we still have electricity for a limited period, I'll watch all those things and then go out and, kill mutants. But I got, speaking of delivery, I got one time with an order from Dan Murphy's, and the thing didn't actually come from Dan's, it came from a third party. It was a special bottle of this bitters, Peyshaw's bitters. It was barrel-aged Peyshaw's bitters, and it arrived, and the bottle was... Oh, it was really weird because something had obviously leaked, and because it's very red. I was going, oh, that's weird. And I took the bottle out. What's leaked? And the base was cracked right around, which is when it was leaky, but it was cracked right around. So I sort of picked it up, and then I must have bumped it, and the bottom just came off, and it was just goosh. So I just posted Dan's a photo and said, this just arrived broken. And they sent me another one, no questions asked. Now, that maybe is because I ordered a shit ton of stuff from them and I never complained. So when I do the one complaint, they just assume it's for real and they don't question it. I think like if you ordered something and just kept saying, it's broken, send me another one, they might end up saying, I think you're a bullshit artist and we're just not going to deliver to you anymore. And dude, that is an excellent reason for buying physical media, stuff you have a sentimental attachment to. It's an absolutely excellent reason for buying it. I back that 100%. Yeah. But yeah, I used to buy heaps of physical media. I don't think I've bought any physical media for a number of years now because I've just got so much of it. And, the streaming services as well. Wow. I've got and one of my Facebook friends, who's a mad film buff, he's buying new discs every fucking week. He's watching them. He's not like me where he got this stuff and never watched it. But, and yes, Safa, by and large, good quality physical media is better than streaming. But I'm not that much of a sort of high-end obsessive type, so it doesn't matter to me. But yeah, no, this friend of mine, he buys new physical media every week and watches them. Like he watches a fuck ton more movies than me and rewatches. Like he's always posting stuff, exactly like you were saying, Jude, like sentimental reasons. Here's an all-time favorite I managed to find and have no fucking idea where he's storing them. Because he must, I was going to say hundreds. I think he must actually have thousands of discs. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I don't know. But I've got hundreds. And he has way more than me. Ugh. So I'm just thinking, what's it? It's just coming up at 9:30. I might open one of my sodies. Because I haven't had these flavored sodies for a little while. Come on. All right. Good thing to hydrate, because I had a couple of the alcoholic beverages. So I'll just hydrate. I'm going to have a blood orange and sage soda. The rest of the 4-pack over there. Because I don't have to share the cat tree with Mimsy anymore. Safa, I reckon this mate of mine has got an entire fucking storage room for his discs. Also, he buys figurines. He's mad for the figurines of the characters. So I think he's just got a shit ton of storage in his house. Right. Let me get another block O ice. Because I like my drink really icy. So I like these cappies that are very lightly flavored. Like, it's not artificial flavor. There's not even artificial sweetener in there. So it's just a really light flavor. They do these ones where it's a fruit and a herb flavoring. There's a lemon and basil, which I couldn't get. They were out of. This one, blood orange and sage. The other one I've got is... what's the herb in this one? It's grapefruit and rosemary. So when's the most I've lost internet connections? I honestly, I don't know. There might have been times when I had no internet for a day or two. It's not something I noted down, so I honestly could not give you a definitive answer on that. So, oh yeah, Mega Leech. Sorry, yeah, I just decided to order the 24 packs. No, not from Catch. They weren't actually that cheap on Catch. I got them directly through Cappy, and they were offering a discount. So yes, I got them. It only took them a couple of days to deliver. It was good. Okay, you got your internet in South Australia. That's always a bit of a struggle in a new house. And Safa, I also agree. When Mega Leech recommended they had Cappy on Catch, I looked. Weird shit on the Catch website. Absolutely weird stuff. I love just the hint of herbal flavor in this water. It's really different. I don't think there's another product like it on the market. The fact they don't even use artificial sweetener in it, it's just soda water, and it's a hint of fruit and a hint of herbal flavor. And I think it makes it really unique. Really, really like it, actually. And Safa, no, I don't think I've seen Catch TV commercials. I almost never watch anything that has commercials in it. Like, everything I watch is streaming things that I've paid for, so there's no commercials. Jude, you got a cat quirk, younger female, hates raised voices. Oh gosh, Shadow is super flinchy. Like, if I even just sniff sharply, Shadow will flinch. I think. Oh, you'd put stevia in it. Yeah, I guess you could. I just kind of like they've created this product, doesn't have even artificial flavor. And yes, you could definitely put some stevia in it, but it's sparkling water with a really light hint of fruit and a really light hint of herbal flavor. I wouldn't drink a lot of this, but it's really nice though. Just these little bottles. It's nice for something a bit different. So yeah, I mean, my normal poison of choice is Pepsi Max, with, its artificial sweetener in it. Yeah, see, Safa, okay, that's actually a good current news story to bring up. Crime wave in Alice Springs, Northern Territory generally. I'm extremely cautious about how politicians describe what's happening and how media describes what's happening, because I think the situation on the ground is going to be much more complex than either of them are saying. So I'm not actually going to make any judgment or really even pass any comment on it, because I very strongly suspect that the situation is much more complex than either the media or the politicians are saying. But yeah, it does seem to be some shit going down. Bob and Richard, oh no! So your cat got traumatized by a shouting match between the blokes. Good Lord. Yeah. Well, the whole, as I've said many times, the whole reason we got Shadow from the animal hospital, she was a rescue. There was a bunch of kittens, and she was the smallest. And it seemed like all the other kittens were picking on her. And we're like, "Well, it's a little one. They're picking on her. Let's take her home and look after her." It's like she was permanently traumatized by being bullied by the other kittens. So she's always flinchy and acts like, even though, like, I don't know, she's like 12 years old now. She still acts like we're going to murder her at any given moment. But since she's become the only house cat, she's much more comfortable. She spends more time sitting with us, sleeping on the bed, sitting with us on the lounge, but she still acts a bit weird stuff. I still think she might show up on the stream at one point, because her behavior is changing a lot. So yeah. Kirsten has a flinchy cat as well. There you go. It's a whole thing. Oh, dude, you got yours adopted as an adult. Well, Jesus, if they've been subject to trauma up to adulthood, that's even worse. But yeah, no, Shadow only had trauma as a kitten, but it's like it affected her whole life. So I'm just going to turn a light off here because I'm not shooting anymore. Video. There we go, there we go, there we go. Yes, I mean, I've been going on about this for a bit, but water with a little herbal quality is very interesting. And it's a good breaking up of things, I think. I mean, some people might be really into that, I guess. Some people might drink a lot of it. I just like it every now and then. So, Jude, you had a thunderstorm directly over the house, point blank thunderclap, had her out of sorts the whole week. That's interesting. I've never really seen Shadow react to thunder. I feel like it would make her freak out, but I can't tell you completely confidently that it does, because I don't really remember directly seeing her react. Jesus Christ, it fucking makes me flinch sometimes. You ever that thing when you're really deeply asleep and there's a really loud thunderclap and you wake up, but by the time you wake up, the thunder's not there anymore. So you spend a bit going, why did I wake up? And then it's like your brain processes there was a really fucking loud noise, and then you maybe hear rain or see lightning, and you go, oh, it's thunder. Thunder woke me up. Okay. At least that's how it is for me. I've had that happen a few times. Just suddenly wake up, but then just be sort of, why did I wake up? And then my brain sort of belatedly processes,
There was the big noise. There's a big noise that woke us up. I was like, oh, it was that. Okay. So it's a whole thing. I mean, I guess you could. I know, like Megaly said, use stevia, a low calorie sweetener in this, but you know, maybe a cordial with these as well would be interesting. But I wouldn't want to overpower it. I'd want to put just a light flavor in them, because the flavor that's in them is very delicate. Very delicate. Don't want to overpower it. Did I see anything? Why are all these references to MODOK? Oh! Is MODOK in the new... MODOK's in the new Ant-Man movie. Because there was an absolutely fucking hilarious animated MODOK series on Disney Plus with comedian what's his name? Patton Oswalt voicing MODOK, and it was fucking hilarious. Mental organism designed only for killing. So he's in the quantum realm in the Ant-Man movie. Okay, that's why there's all these stories about MODOK. They're not referring to the animated series I saw. He's in the upcoming Ant-Man movie. Okay. There you go. Trivia. Sorry, it's just like news from the World Polling Institute. Albanese still well ahead of Dutton as preferred Prime Minister. Again, that metric, preferred Prime Minister, is absolutely meaningless. But Dutton is fucking electoral poison. So, in your house, your cats get very alert around thunderstorms, not fearful unless thunder gets close. Your late Big Ben got scared enough to start panting. Oh, Kirsten, you got a headache. Okay, I hope going to bed fixes your headache, and hope to see you again another day. Please take care of yourself. I had a headache before the stream. I took some little tablets, and the headache went away. So that's good. So I'm just like, hydrating. It's kind of like, okay, hydrating for bed, I think, is good for me. It does mean I'll probably have to get up in the middle of the night to go pee-pees, but that's okay. Just gotta go to sleep. The whole thing. What do you think? Oh God, why am I thinking about work? Work sucks. Actually, my work is fine, and I like the people I work with. So, so I had an old school angry fan comment on a video the other day, like, "Oh, whatever happened, man? You're still here. That's so cool. I love your stuff. I did a whole thing," and then he's like, "Oh man, look, why you so low?" And said a bunch of sensible things. You used to do a whole bunch of shorts and whatnot. And I just told him the truth, and I went, "Yeah, dude, I stopped caring about that whole I want to be noticed on YouTube thing years ago. And now pretty much all I do is hang out on live streams with friends." And he said that was based, so that's cool. But yeah, if you'd asked for more explanation, I would have given the real explanation that I've given here. The simplest way to describe it is I've reached a stage in my life where being known, particularly for doing angry, ranty, shouty, sweary political stuff on YouTube, has almost no upside for me. and significant potential downside. So it makes no fucking sense to do it. Subway cookies and happiness is good. What does based mean? It basically, what is it? It loosely translates as, yeah, that's like you're down with the clown. That's like, yeah, hardcore politics. That's keeping it real. It's somewhere on the spectrum of you're keeping it real, you're real politically with it and whatnot. But the weird thing is both the right and the left say it. So of course, if like like an alt-right white supremacist type says based, they mean a completely different thing to if a leftist calls you based. But it basically just means like, yeah, you're fucking with it, man. You're keeping it real. But yeah, given that both the right and the left say it, it can be pretty weird because it means a very different thing depending who says it. So yeah, it's weird. But yeah, this guy just accepted. It's like, it's the past. And also, yeah, it's like my moment on YouTube was fucking 10 years ago. Well, depends how succulent your turkey is if it's based. Although I guess that's basted rather than based. The weird thing is I don't even know what the origins of that are, because there's no obvious sort of source for that. Based meaning good, with it, down. And oh god, Safa, turkey for Christmas. Now you're just reminding me that I didn't get any good roasts after Christmas, which I often try and do. Morning, Strictly Sega. Jude, okay. Facebook sometimes has a sync discrepancy between video and sound. Okay. I don't think that's universal because other people haven't said that. But again, that whole thing, there are so many variables. And no, I don't think it has anything to do with all your basa belong to us. Okay, but we're on the internet. So what would happen if I searched, what is the origin of based? Where does it come from? The slang basehead, a term from the 1980s to describe people addicted to freebasing cocaine. Okay, who invented the bass? Musician Lil B. This, I don't know. This sounds dubious. Dictionary.com. Comes from talking about being a basehead? Over time, calling someone based was a way of saying they were a crack addict. No. The reinvented based as a signal of power and swagger was picked up. Yeah, right. I was right. It was picked up by the alt-right in the 2010s. Yes, based was originally used by the right wingers, but these days people on the left do it too. Yeah, that's why I was really wary of using it, because I knew it started with those dickheads. Yeah, Dr. Abigail De La Soul had songs. There were you got a few '90s hip hop acts referring to bass heads, which is about freebasing cocaine, which is a precursor to crack, basically. All right. Look at some of the other entries. Those. What does based mean on TikTok? Means being yourself, not caring what others think. Carry yourself with swagger. Why do people say based? It was originally being a bass head, but then Rapper Little B used it being yourself, not caring what others think. Yes. And it was adopted by the right wing fuckheads. But now, okay, let's go. Just checking something. Here's another site that says conveys different meanings. Typically means it's agreeable, cool. Right wingers mean anti woke. So like anti vaguely decent human. Oh, so Lil B also called himself based God. Okay. And then it got adopted by fuckhead right wingers. But I know left wingers use it as well. I'm actually, yeah, I'm all actually quite wary of using it because of the fact it was adopted by these right wing fuckheads. And yes, it would give a new meaning to base jumping or addicted to base. Ace of base. Oh, fun fact. Does anyone remember that 90s act Ace of Base? They had a couple of hits. I Saw the Sign and All That She Wants Another Baby. They were Nazis. I'm not making it up. They were like white supremacist neo-Nazis. The more you learn, the more you learn. It's we live in a complicated world. Is all I'm gonna say. So it's a funny old world. Uh, Honey, I saw the sign. It was confusing. All right, so Big H, I'm going to look it up. Again, we're on the internet, so I'm going to say, were Ace of Base Nazis? Okay, so that's Ace of Base's secret Nazi past. Before he founded Ace of Base, Ulf Ekberg was a neo-Nazi skinhead. Like I think like that song, All That She Wants Is Another Baby is like an anti-migrant thing. So founding member of Ace of Base was a full-on skinhead Nazi. It's unclear whether the rest of Ace of Base knew about his Nazi origins. It's rarely spoken about today, so when you tell your friends about this stuff, you can expect some jaws hitting the floor. So yeah, I guess the guy is still a fucking Nazi, honestly. So is that one of the other people in Ace of Base, Max Martin? Writes a lot of American pop songs. Again, the whole music industry is weird with songwriters that you don't realize are behind a bunch of stuff. A podcast, Ace of Base is a Nazi band with Adam Todd Brown and Lizard People. How a pop band tripped 9 million Americans into being Nazis. Okay, this is another one. Oh, Jesus Christ. Version of things automatically got ad blocker on, and websites block you if you've got an ad blocker. Fuck you, I'll use 12-foot ladder. Okay, so Ace of Base. Okay, the fact they have ties to neo-Nazis isn't in dispute or a secret. Vice covered it. Why is the name? The name is likely a reference to a submarine base, U-boat launching docking facilities constructed by Nazis. So a Nazi U-boat base was known as the Base of Aces, and they can't explain where the name comes from. Okay. What's more likely? A confirmed Nazi just randomly threw two words together, coming up with a band name, and landed on the perfect inverse of a nickname for one of the most impressive structures ever produced by the Nazi war machine. Was that a coincidence, or did he know exactly what he was doing? All right. So I'm trying to think what else is here. There's more. Their album Happy Nation. Lyrics are suspicious. There's a chant that's a weird mishmash of Latin and Hebrew, never translated 100%, but people usually come up with a variation of, on the wings of an eagle with God's help, I was there before everyone. In the meantime, I will kill you. I was there before everyone. Which sounds vaguely Nazi, yes. Sorry, someone's just going down a really fun rabbit hole with this article. But anyway. Yeah, Heine, was the sign they saw a swastika? Maybe. Oh, yeah, strictly saying, you're going at all the hits this guy's written. Max Martin wrote Backstreet Boys, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift, Pink, Nicki Minaj, Kelly Clarkson, The Weeknd, Jesse Bon Jovi. Yeah, the whole songwriting thing is wild. There's a song about Charles Darwin. Okay. Oh, yeah, this is what I heard. All That She Wants. It's about a woman who leeches off society by tricking men into getting her pregnant so she doesn't have to work. Which is, yeah, weird sort of MRA mentality. And the video for that features the the subject of the song that they're very negative about is stroking a necklace that's a bunch of six-pointed stars, aka Star of David. So it's really funny. This is on crack.com. This person's really going to town, explaining Nazi symbology in Ace of Base. Oh, Lawsy. Oh, you've got a YouTube comment in Latin. That's the whole thing. Oh, 20. Okay, coming up to 10. Almost finished my water. So yes, okay. I feel confident in just slandering Ace of Base and saying they're all Nazis. I see. Dr. Abigail on Discord has been talking about fezzes and possibly, and I've told this story on the stream before, but possibly the most famous fez wearer is a British comedian pre-Doctor Who. Tommy Cooper was his name, and he had it is very old school British comic, very silly, from like 60s, 70s. And there was this weird thing where he would just, yes, Strictly Sega, you know him, Tommy Cooper, literally died on stage. People thought it was part of his act, but he had this little catchphrase where he went, just like that, just like that. And the story goes he was holidaying in Egypt with some friends, and they're in a market near the pyramids, and there's a dude selling fezzes, and Tommy Cooper was not wearing his fez because he's just on holidays, and he's with his friend. He goes, "Oh, check it out!" And the Egyptian guy is running the stall, sort of puts the fez on and goes, "Just like that, just like that." And Tommy Cooper freaks out a bit and is like, "Oh, do you know me?" And the guy's going, "No, I don't know you. Why?" He goes, "Why did you do that?" And he goes, "Oh, every English person comes here, wants to put the fez on and say just like that, just like so I do that for them." And then Tommy Cooper explains it's actually me that they're doing. I thought that was a very funny story. But yes, what's every comedian's nightmare? Dying on stage. Tommy Cooper literally died on stage. Yeah. Oh, yum. God, I'm nothing if not predictable. I can always predict when I have like cider cherries, particularly if it's sat in a couple of drinks. When I chew it up, I'm just going to go yum, 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 because I love the way they taste. It's very yummy. And yes, Tricky say it was a kind of running joke because Tommy Cooper would do this magic stuff and he'd fuck it up. Due to be very sunk partially behind the curtain. Yeah, but he died on stage. The audience thought it was part of the act. But he actually died. Anyway, it's like 10 o'clock now. I'm going to go to bed. Now, thank you, wonderful people, for spending time with me this evening. I always appreciate it. I am going to go to bed. So if you're around, I guess on Thursday, I see you again. So look after yourself and be well.